So what riders ask for and what actually happened on race day, let's just say those two worlds don't usually match. So today we're putting it all on the table. Welcome back to Transfer Talk, the official podcast of the West Virginia Enduro Series. I'm Micah, your president and fellow sufferer on those transfer climbs. So today we're going to be mixing it up, doing something a little fun. We're going to kind of be going about what racers want versus, kind of reality. So to start off, we're going to kind of do the rider versus the promoter, round table. So I've brought in Ethan and Jenny back. Say hello.
Hello.
We're going to talk to you about the stuff you wish races had, the rules you've kind of wondered about, the decisions you question, and what really goes into making an Enduro weekend run smoothly. So to start off, we're going to start with what racers want. So if you could have anything in a race weekend, what would it be?
Clean runs. But that seldom happens, especially when you got 5 or 6 runs that you're trying to do. But no, just good tracks, course laid out well so you can navigate it pretty easy. And then prompt results. And a good time on the bike with your friends.
Yeah, I'm piggybacking that. I think for me, the biggest is when you arrive on site, easy communication, easy to navigate, and then just feel like as long as it doesn't matter what anybody's missing out on, but I think as long as the communication is there, stages are marked, and you can kind of like self-progress through it. You don't have to ask a whole lot of questions. I think that's all I ask for, at least.
Yeah. Okay. So how about like more tech, more bike parky stuff, old school trails? What about like that kind of stuff?
Me personally, I like old school. Like if it's a hiking trail, I get excited about that because it's not purpose built for bikes, and it's gonna lean towards the like who can actually ride a bike rather than just like who can go down this slalom course and hit these jumps the quickest and so on and so forth. Or like if the trail is 10 feet wide and there's just no real challenge, it's all just absolute sprint. I like the technicality of raw single track.
Yeah.
And then too, something that is not necessarily an at-home trail for anybody, something that is new to the mix, that is not something you can just go ride on a regular daily basis. I think prime example of that was Cacapen and the Xylers.
Yeah, like fresh cut, or we got a one-time permit of like, let's do this hiking trail.
Well, that's like, the past 3-4 years we've raced the Zollers, but the only time you're technically allowed to ride them is race weekend because they're hiking only.
Or, we had how many fresh cuts at Kanawha this year?
Yeah, too many.
No.
You can never have too many, but too many to count, I should say, off the top of my head. Okay, so what about like more stages, less stages? Like, do you think there's a good mix there?
Yeah, I think somewhere in between like 5 and 7, and then just depending on how long they are and how long like the total race is going to be.
Yeah, and to kind of go off what you're saying there, like I don't really look at stages, like how many stages we get. I kind of go more based off of mileage and elevation gain when you're building it, because hey, we have to do a minimum of 5 stages. Right. Well, you could do a minimum of 5 stages some race and you're going to be over 35 miles.
Oh yeah.
There's
And I think too for the series it's great continuity because it's a matter of, for the West Virginia Enduro Series, like we know that we can kind of expect in this ballpark of elevation gain and mileage, per class. And then too, I will say like kind of an asterisk on all of this is I think more so like 5 to 7 stages pro class, looking for those bigger days to where sport and below. There are the various gauges, but like for the pro class level, we'll kind of caveat that.
And you have to accommodate for the other classes too, so that you're not killing them or
making it too hard for everybody.
Well, and just not making the day super long.
Yeah. And going with that, so do you think our start times are good? Would you rather have earlier start times, later start times? I feel like 10's a great time to start.
Yeah, I think 10's fine.
And generally we do allow like chip and go.
Right.
You know,
Yeah.
especially at, like Cape End and stuff like that, where we do have a bigger turnout. Just keeps the lines at the top down.
Yeah.
Yeah, and as the series grows, maybe we'll have to adapt this as far as like, hey, we got 500 people here this weekend. Like, we might need to stagger start or something. Or it'll come down to like, do we have to do the stages in order, or can it be a free for all where like you can start with 1, 2, or 3 sort of thing to like get the crowds semi under control,
Right.
get the weight lines or the lines under control.
Yeah, so we're not waiting an hour to be able to drop in on stage 1, which I think that, and then 2, I also play a factor into, we had a really nice like summer. I feel like all of our races were really good as far as weather was concerned, but in some of those
except Valley Falls.
except Valley Falls. As far as heat is concerned, no races were too hot.
Yeah, or too cold, really.
Yeah, we had. I mean, I
we
feel
had
like
great weather.
Pretty good weather. Valley Falls, it was a torrential downpour, but that temperature was good.
There's always one.
Right.
Yeah.
And so I think too,
snowshoe made up for it. It was extremely dry.
That
but
is
cool.
true.
Yes.
That is true. Yeah, snowshoe.
And Slady Fork.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, so those are the prime years we can expect next year to be terrible conditions because we got the one
Don't
good
say
year. Got the one good. But too, like with weather and the variations, I think the variability of population and then also like weather and things like that, start times vary. But I love the 10 o'clock because it's like, can wake up, can drink some coffee. I know for people who are coming in morning of and day of, it gives them time to where they're not having to leave at 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning to try to make a drive to make an 8 o'clock start time. So I think that also is a great option for people who are coming in day of as well. It's a good time. And then too, it doesn't get stretched the day out super long either.
Yeah. So what about like aid stations? Like, do you guys feel like the snacks and that kind of stuff are appropriate? I know like this year, I've already reached out to like some sponsors. So like aid stations will look a little different this year. A little bit better than what they have in the past. But like, what are your guys' thoughts on that?
I think at our level, we just plan ourselves.
Yeah.
Like either we'll stash some stuff the day before, or we just know the areas where we are well enough to be like, oh yeah, after stage 2 and 3, we'll be coming down to the same spot. So I'll just drop a backpack there.
Yeah.
Or I just carry it with me.
Yeah.
But
we have nutrition plan basically.
Yeah.
But having aid stations there for other people or beginners and everybody else, I think it's only going to benefit.
Yeah.
It can only be a good thing.
Yeah. And if there's anything that you guys want to see at aid stations, let me know. I mean, I can make that happen. So
in the comments, put them in the comments.
in the comments.
And like and subscribe.
I think aid stations are great. I love to be able to lean on aid stations for something a little different. It's sometimes nice. Like I personally pretty well have my nutrition set, and I know it works for me on race day, and so that's what I stick to and stick with for my overall kind of the success of the day, hopefully. But aid stations are great. It is a nice way to change it up. I think it's a great social element and a great gathering, kind of like the water cooler in the office. It's a great place for racers to kind of come and gather. It's a great place for volunteers to be involved. And then I think the most important is the hydration more than anything. Just making sure there's hydration, snacks, it's whatever. But
yeah, I think it's like one per race. I end up giving water to somebody, and I'm happy to do so. But it's always like, oh yeah, I thought I could get by today with one bottle, and I didn't bring anything else. I'm just like, here you go.
So you're saying it would be a good idea at the tops of stages, when applicable, to have the so the word I was looking for was volunteers. So wow.
So we're gonna have volunteers at the top.
Yes,
Okay.
but having water with the volunteers at the top of stages when we can get access to the top relatively easily.
Yeah, or just like a general area. It's like if stages 1 through 3 start over this way.
Yeah.
You're gonna have a water. Okay.
Yeah.
Sweet. Yeah.
Well, that was kind of like at Slady Fork at the bottom of stage 2, which was the new one we did. You could get a truck there. Like you're in the middle of no man's land. It took like 40 minutes to get a truck there, but you could get a truck there.
At K1, when we had like all the stages off the backside and everybody reconvenes back
at the
up
top
at the parking lot.
Yeah.
It's like that's perfect and easy.
Yeah.
And I mean, in places like that, we did have aid stations.
Yeah.
But just continuing to do so and make sure they're good
Easily
to go.
accessible.
I want to DJ at aid stations.
Oh, yeah,
I would like to like pump up the jams.
So that was my next thing. Like
Anybody want to volunteer?
my next thing was actually more hype zones. So like you like read my mind. So like at K2 this year, like the Grom squad's parents were like out running around like filming and cheering everybody on. Like we need more of that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you hear me? We need more of that. So you guys that don't ride bikes but go to the races, don't be afraid to do a little hikey,
Yeah.
a little clappy.
I will
Do
say
a little hypey.
Yeah, do a little hypey.
I will say as a racer, when you go by and it's just crickets, you start to wonder if you're doing it right. But if you go by and people are yelling and screaming and cheering and flashing you, then it's like, hell yeah, let's
Wait,
go.
you've been flashed?
Mostly dudes.
Okay. Mostly.
Yeah. Eyes on the prize. Tunnel vision.
Eyes on the prize.
Okay.
How did you go OTP in the...
Caven? No, I'm
Yeah.
just kidding.
There was also a race that her and I did this summer that won't be named quite yet, which, we might end... He came to some of our races too, the Shed. Anyway, they put out a map that had like specific fan zones marked on it.
Yes.
Oh.
To where it was like, hey, this is a spectator friendly zone. It's easy to walk to. And they handed, I think, did they hand out paper maps or did they just post it on social?
It was posted on social and posted like on the website. But that was kind of a neat thing. Very similar off of how like World Cup UCI events will do like downhill fan zones and things like that. So that was something that could be.
That's really smart. Like I never
Yeah.
considered of adding that onto like the stage race map.
Or
Right.
even
And
even like on the ground if there is signage that says like good spectating spot.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, because people do ask me, and sometimes I tell them, and it's like you can't like maybe getting maps printed out and having that registration.
That could help, or having it on the socials already, just on like the stage map. You could simply just highlight an area and be like, hey, this is a good area
these
to watch.
callers are fan zones.
Yeah, this is how you might get to it, or something along those lines. And then, especially at Kanawha, when you have you can just walk up from the bottom of so many of them. You could just put signs or like spectator end of stage 4, something along those lines. Maybe.
Yeah, something to think about.
I don't know. What do you think, audience?
Would it be? Well, and I think too for those who have family, significant others, friends, and whatever that come to the races. If you're a racer and you have people that like to come and spectate, what do they think? Ask them, give some feedback on that. That would be great.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. What's next?
What riders don't see but should know. So I want each of you to share something you learned this season that made you think, I had no idea that's how races worked.
Well, I've been racing for over 10 years, so I'm starting to get a pretty good
I know,
feel
but
for it.
like this past season was really kind of like your first season, like kind of behind scenes with helping me and doing that kind of stuff.
Seeing the backside of bike reg, getting insurance and stuff like that for everything. Like the racers don't see it. The cost is embedded, but like a certain percentage of your race fee is due to insurance just to cover the event.
Yeah,
and the area or wherever we are.
Yeah. I mean, like every single venue we go to, we have to pay a fee to be at that venue.
Yeah, and it's more so like, so you can't sue.
Yeah, essentially. Yeah. No, go ahead.
No, that's
So like this, and even like this upcoming year now, right? With helping a little bit more with getting, well, both of you really, with getting some sponsors and you helped me with some scheduling stuff with reaching out to other promoters in other states through your contacts and stuff. So like the scheduling stress, like you've seen like the backhand of how hard it is to put a calendar together and make sure that all the puzzles fit the way they're supposed to fit.
It's like not trying to overlap with NICA, not trying to overlap with Downhill Southeast or the enduros in Virginia, North Carolina, Kentucky,
Ohio.
Maryland.
Yeah.
It's like, and then you take into consideration like GNCCs and national enduros.
Yeah.
You're like,
Yeah.
it's every weekend.
Yeah. It's very hard.
And then between just that general schedule, and then trying to nail down your promoters and your locations to also agree on those schedules, because outside of your schedule, they also have their own schedule.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it is herding cats.
Or like certain venues only have, they're like, oh, we can only do this date in August and this date in April. Like, which one works for you?
Well, and now that the schedule's out, that's like the New River Gorge race, right? So we're working with Needles Eye and Ace, which Needles Eye is like city property. They're being gracious and letting us hold part of our race there. It's a new trail system that's being developed. If you haven't ridden there, go check it out. It's in downtown Fayetteville. It's pretty sick. Definitely like 140 trail bike-ish. But I mean, it's good.
Yeah.
But like working with Ace and like, all the events that they have, and they're only a seasonal, so like making sure we didn't go past their seasonal date, and then you have Bridge Day and all that kind of stuff that goes on down there.
Yeah.
It's hard.
Yeah.
It was hard to nail down a date for some of those.
Which, speaking of the schedule for 2026 is posted on socials and the website. Go check it out.
Hey, so like last minute tape changes. You have seen that countless times this past year. You have seen that countless times past year, out pre-riding and just having to fix stuff, or like caping. I was like, hey, like if you guys come up early, please do. I need help.
Well, and that was a case where the promoter that usually does that race wasn't there.
Yeah, he had ended up having like a wedding come up, and the dude that was supposed to fulfill that backed out like kind of last minute.
Right. And then that's also the one we were digging ditches in because
the rain.
It torrentially downpoured for 4 days leading up to.
Yeah.
The race itself was great.
Yeah.
But a couple of the stages were streams.
Yeah.
That was when we almost died by lightning.
Yeah. Oh gosh. Yeah. And then kind of staying with caping. That's kind of why volunteers are such a big deal, because I mean I was left last minute kind of do that race by myself, and I mean I have no hard feelings toward anyone. Like I get if someone has a family wedding and they have to attend, but the dude that backed out kind of have hard feelings towards him. But like the volunteers that stepped up on race day to help, was tremendous. And,
they were specifically at Cape, and there was a number of volunteers that I acted with at the top of stages and then at the bottom and such, and they were all about it. They loved it.
And coming through registration, I was so scatterbrained that morning. I can't remember the guy's name to save my life right now. But he was definitely in the military, and he was like, hey, we're going to do this, this, and this. And I was like, that sounds great. You just do that, and I'm going to go away. And I think that process worked great.
Yeah.
So
we need to remember his name and find him for this coming season.
Yeah. So like safety protocols. That's a big one.
Safety third.
We deal with that. It's kind of why we have insurance. Getting insurance.
That's exactly why we have insurance.
That's exactly why I have insurance. So I mean, you've kind of dealt with some of that, and then permit restrictions. With Slady Fork and Monday Lick, they're both technically national forests.
Yeah.
Dealing with that. I mean, thankfully we don't deal with that too much. That kind of goes through the whole Poker Trails and Shark Crew. They handle a lot of that. But kind of even this year, like going into the New River Gorge, now that's its own thing.
Park.
Yeah. Dealing with that and making sure that we have what we need. It was kind of a big thing. And then kind of course design. Leaned on you guys some this past year. Course design, trying to make sure that like we didn't make it too difficult or too easy. Sure. You said you wanted a hard one at Caping, and I gave it to you.
We dug our own grave.
That's great.
Yep. And then kind of going in, staying in that as to why certain trails can and cannot be used. We thankfully at Capon we're able to use the Zyler trails. The park's nice enough to let us use that. At Kanawha for finals in round 2 at Kanawha, we got permission through the park there to also run a hiking trail, which was cool. I think the plan is for Kanawha to kind of push more bikes oriented trails that on that side of the park, because there's really nothing.
Makes sense.
Which I think so much of that comes to the relationship with the rangers that are managing those parks, especially in the national and state forest side. I know at K2 had a chance to talk with the head ranger there, and he was very excited about the event, was very excited about new trails that they were putting in.
Yep.
So it really is such a hit or miss on the availability of what can be used, if new things can be put in. And it really comes down to the discretion of the location itself.
Yeah. Well, and that's like Brett at Valley Falls, the ranger of Valley Falls. I mean, all those trails have been pretty much only done because of him and Jason and Charlie Brand. I mean, they were the ones that kind of started the thing, and then can't forget Nate Parrish.
Yeah, Nate Parrish
he's done a lot of work, and Brett's kind of just given us, I don't want to say free reign, but I mean, he doesn't complain or gripe at all. So
he kind of just wants the final stamp of approval, and
make sure we're not doing anything too stupid.
Yeah, and he's pretty lenient when it comes to stupidity.
So if you guys are running, that's kind of why things get chaotic. There's a lot of decisions that happen really late at night, last minute, and really, really early in the morning, last minute. It kind of goes down to the racers and the promoters and myself, just kind of coming to an understanding that, I'm doing what I think is best and the promoter's doing what they think is best. And that's for riders' safety and making sure the event goes smoothly.
Right. And it's not always about like the trail itself. It might be so we have to accommodate everyone.
Everybody.
We have to try to make everybody happy, even though that's always impossible.
Yeah. You can't make everybody happy.
No.
So compromise ideas. What could actually change?
Well, this is where we could probably use the input of people outside our immediate circle. But we've talked about class structure before.
Yep.
You added the beginner class last year, and that seems to have
but it's going to stay this year.
Seems to have taken off pretty well.
So I think kind of like more hype zones. I think that's something that we can make a realistic improvement on. Putting that on the maps. I think there's ways we can communicate better, as from myself and the promoter to the racers. I think we sometimes lack that communication.
Which, stepping on with and jumping on with that point, a huge area that I felt was a big lack of communication was Slady Fork, and the hospitality that Shark and Polka bring to that of they cook meals and the band that they have and the bonfire and the camping things. And I think pairing on with hype zones and kind of like the racer experience and the spectator experience of that. I think things like that, that was there was a few things on it, but I think a very missed opportunity, which to me makes that race great. I mean, the trails are great. It's a great race and stuff like that, but the hospitality of the promoters in that is a big thing too. I think that we should be more forward coming about.
So I think just kind of doing a little bit better communicating via race day activities prior to race day, just getting more information out.
And this is the thing that we tend to do naturally because we know what's coming and we know what to expect, but we have to reach the person that's never been to this before and tell them everything about it up front, which is hard to do.
So I posted the schedule on all social media, so Facebook, Instagram, I guess that's on the website. The website. And there's been a lot of people that's been commenting on Facebook and be like, hey, what are the class like what are the ages? Is there an age limit? Is there, is there class? What classes? Blah blah blah.
Yeah.
And I think when looking back and looking at the website, I need to go back and edit the website because
Okay.
there's nothing that talks about class structure or anything like that on the website. So I need to go in and
just add all the the basic information that people
would want
Yeah.
or to know about.
Yeah. Because everybody goes in and they maybe this is what I think, or this is what I look for when I'm looking for another race is or where would I fit in? How do I compete?
Yeah.
Is there a qualification? Is everybody welcome, sort of thing?
Yeah.
Or do I need to collect points? Is it am I 4 years ago when we were trying to qualify for EWS, you had to search out certain qualifiers, you had to race pro, and you had to get a certain
top 10 or better or something.
You had to get a certain number away from first, depending on how many people were in the class, and it was hugely confusing. It's not as easy as ours, where it's just race whatever class you want to and show up.
Your bike.
Yeah.
But we still need to put that
information
up
out
there,
somewhere for people to know about.
All are welcome.
Yeah.
Any class you feel like joining, as long as you do qualify for it.
Yeah.
If you've raced in the past,
you're not allowed to race sport class,
right?
But he didn't say beginner.
I'm not allowed to race the other class either.
Yes.
So no beginner, no sport if you've raced for 5+ years.
Well, and you can't really say that because some people don't race for that competition, right? They don't.
Yeah.
They're not out there to be people. I know people that's been riding bikes for 5 years, and they're like, "Oh man, I just go out there to have fun. I don't really care how I do."
They don't want the pressure.
And they don't want the pressure. So that person's okay, well, race whatever you want.
And then too, I think class structure should be based more on, and this was something to look back on, especially last year, to see kind of what those average numbers were for the different class and stage and distance and elevation numbers, because a sense of classes are based more on stage number, but then that distance and elevation. So it's not necessarily based on number of years, but more so capability of the person and what they feel they can accomplish in the day. Because somebody who could be the greatest racer, had a long time racing things, could have been out of the sport for a while and just isn't in the shape to feel like they want to race, say, 5 or 6 stages of pro, but feels like they want to go down in the sport, kind of just in doing it more based off their capability of a person, their
physical fitness,
and capability more so than level of competitiveness as well.
And maybe we can do rough estimates with those classes based on elevation and distance, just hey, beginner, expect this, sport, expect this,
right? And would that be helpful information? Please let us know. Would that be helpful as other people in racing or people who are trying to get involved in racing, if we could have the information online that says this is kind of what you can plan to expect, a baseline of what you can expect, give or take. It's always a sliding scale and a range, but this is your baseline of what to expect. Would that be more encouraging for people, especially who are coming newly into it or haven't done the series before, looking into it?
Yeah.
Could that be a good baseline?
Also, what would incentivize people to sign up earlier instead of the week of?
Right.
Yeah. And that makes it
weatherman.
Well, but that makes it hard on us as promoters and stuff, because we have to go out and buy all this stuff for the aid stations, and there's a lot, and Slady Fork and that preparing all the food. We can't wait until the day before and try to do that. So that's a big thing of how do we get people to sign up earlier.
Yeah.
Well, and some people might even wonder too. They're like, well, why can't you go out the day before? And just for those who may not know or understand, these are people who work 9 to 5 jobs and volunteer their spare time to put this on.
Yeah. So, I generally work about 50 to 60 hours a week and run bicycle races.
So you don't work 9 to 5. You work 7 to 3. You work even more insane hours.
Yeah, I'm out. I get up and I leave my house by 5:15 every morning.
Yeah. So, but it's one of those things of too. I think sometimes people don't understand that. Yes, there are some race promoters that do races and do their circuits as a full-time job, but then specifically with this series, this is put on by people who are completely volunteering their spare time to do this, and so that's where having the pre-set up and things like that. That's why we can't really go out the day before and make go shop for 150 people. And
I don't think there is a single volunteer or promoter in the series that doesn't work a full-time job.
There's not.
And they do this as the side.
Yeah, they take their vacation time and PTO to make these weekends happen, and that's the cool side of how passionate people are about putting these races on.
Yeah. So like at Kanawha round 2, we keep going back to Kanawha and like Cape, and I feel like, but fun pre-race activities or day like fun pre-race activities the day before.
Shenanigans.
Like, is that something we feel like we need to do more often?
I don't think it would hurt. We seem to have like pretty good engagement, especially with like the younger crowd.
Yeah,
and the younger crowd is the future of the sport.
Well, and like my initial thoughts kind of go towards Kakapen. Do they have that cool jump little zone down there at the parking lot? Like doing something there. Say like 5 o'clock on Saturday, and it's like, hey, we're going to do like $5 per person, and we're going to do like a whip-off contest, and winner gets all the money. Yeah, something like that, or even like say like snowshoe the day before we do a chainless run, and it's $5 per person, and you do a chainless lap down the mountain. Yeah. Like you have to take your chain off. You cannot go to the line with the chain. Like you actually have to do a full chainless run. But that would be cool. Something fun and easily doable at a ski resort where there's a lift.
Right. And then, other venues, like I've seen other race promoters do mini bike races where it's like you can't have a bike with a wheel bigger than 20 inches on it. Yeah. And then, everybody's like riding clown bikes and weaving in between cones and doing stupid stuff.
Yeah.
Something like that could just maybe draw the people in. I don't know. More ideas, more comments.
Drop all of them in the comments.
Send lots of emails.
So what about like more beginner friendly features? So because we've added the beginner class, right? And it's done really well.
Yeah.
It did really well. And I think that class is just going to continue to grow because I think we're going to continue to see more people moving into the realm of enduro.
I think it's helping like break down the barriers or something of what enduro is. Hey, it doesn't have to be hard and scary, gnarly, and like mandatory 30-foot gaps. Like it can be just a mellow top to bottom. Yeah. Like making it more acceptable or approachable for everybody.
Yeah, and when that's like kind of like Kanawha round 2 for finals, I think that beginner class, the stages we made them do was hard. Mm-hmm. I don't feel like they were very beginner friendly, but due to the course layout and how we did it and that kind of stuff, there was not really any good.
Yeah, it was. And
we almost needed to have them do separate stages from everybody else.
Which might be what we have to do in the future.
But I don't know how that goes with the timing system. So that like
I know Benji's done it before. I know other timers also have the ability.
Yeah.
It just requires more start and end gates. So if we only have say 6 stages and there's 8 sets of gates, like then you can have your two
completely separate beginner stages,
right?
That make it a little bit easier.
Mm-hmm.
Any other ideas?
I think piggybacking on the beginner class and just making more enduro more approachable, and I think building the development of enduro for the future is the idea of doing like almost like a NICA specific kind of race or class or NICA specific stages for more of like your junior aged who are kind of new into mountain biking, because I feel like that's what NICA is really capitalizes on, is bringing new kids into mountain biking. So, to open the door of more than cross country racing and to kind of start a grassroots idea that's not necessarily like in the juniors, these juniors and these kids have been racing and riding bikes since they were 5 years old.
Yeah.
But something that's almost like a beginner class, but NICA specific in a way.
Yeah, I wonder if we can almost change the age classes to mimic the NICA series in that respect, or at least like part of them. Maybe just due to pure attendance right now, we could lump a couple of them together.
Yeah.
But something along those lines to get the younger generation involved coming up.
Yeah, it's not a bad idea.
Especially like our West Virginia NICA series is so involved and it's so great.
It's big.
Being able to open an avenue of mountain biking for them, and it's outside of their season. Like our season is not their season. There is a little bit of overlap, but it's not crazy. So I think being able to, for the next generation, being able to open that avenue of a different discipline in mountain biking is only going to help grow the sport overall.
Yeah.
I'm coming back to it's like circling back to the incentive for registering early. Would there be, I don't know if other national series do this or anything like GNCC, where you could register for all of the rounds?
So that came up. A dude commented on Facebook and brought that up and said, hey, is there a discount
You're right.
if you register for all of these
Yeah.
in advance? So that's difficult.
Right.
Because not one person controls all the bike regs.
Okay.
Which is something that I would like to get under control. But that's hard because people feel like you're taking money from them.
Right. Which is, I mean, and this is another kind of like behind the scenes thing. It's like each promoter is in charge of their race.
Correct.
And then you are the director above all of that to make sure there's continuity between the races.
Yeah.
Like
and
classes
yes.
and stuff.
Yep.
Where I feel like that's a misconception sometimes at the race. People are like, Michael, where are we going? And it's like, it's actually like...
That wasn't your responsibility.
Yeah.
Or something along those lines. But yeah, if there was a way, let's say there's 8 rounds and you have to do 6 of them to qualify for the overall, it's like register for all 8, get 1 free or something like that.
Yeah.
Or just,
yeah. Which may be something we can do in 2027. But I think it sounded like something like the church chairs creaking.
Yeah.
I think that's something we can definitely do in 2020. Well, I would like to see happen in 2027, but for 2026, it's kind of out of the picture for right now.
It's already set in place.
It's already set in place, yeah. So like that's something we'd have to discuss like now to kind of make that happen for 2027.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's going to be a kind of conversation for another day. Anything else?
No, I think that's a pretty open door.
Yeah.
Like of transparency and how at least the West Virginia Enduro Series is put on and what kind of goes on.
Yeah.
With the kind of the herding cats and circus that it is to put these races on.
Not my monkeys, not my circus.
Exactly.
It's just like course layout, making sure those trails are cleaned up and in suitable condition to race.
Yeah.
Marking all of them, putting all the signage up, and then marking everything else too, like where bathrooms and showers and the camping is and facilities and where the aid stations are going to be.
And for you guys that don't know, I'm usually at the race venues by Wednesday to prep for everything. So that's, and I'm putting 16-hour days in at the venues on Thursdays and Fridays to make sure everything.
I tried to get Micah to come to Cranksgiving this year, and he goes, I'm out of PTO. I can't take any more days off because he's taking those days off for you. Thanks, buddy.
Yep. So I think these are just the kind of conversations that are going to drive this series forward, make it better. I mean, there's only one way, and that's up.
Yeah.
I don't plan on going backwards anytime soon. So I just want to say big thanks to you two for joining again today.
Sure.
And every racer, parent, volunteer that kind of helps keep this series alive and well and moving forward.
Volunteers are what keep the ship afloat.
Yeah. So if you guys have questions, ideas, anything else for the next kind of roundtable we do, don't don't be afraid to reach out via DM, drop a comment below.
If you would like to be a guest, if you want to be interviewed or part of the round table,
Come on.
Yeah, let me know. More the merrier. We got a bunch of chairs we can drag around this table. We can be like the wow.
Knights.
The Knights, yeah, the Knights at the round table. It's been a long day.
Yeah.
And with that, I'm Micah, your president, and your fellow surfer on this climbs. We'll catch you guys on the next one. Deuces.